welcome to Codes of Harmony. So, I've left the chat open. If anyone has anything to say, this is a great time to do so. Hold up. Okay, we've got a very exciting message, but it's interesting coming off the back of the message that I just channeled, which was about love being your shield. Okay, I'm hearing that Stormzy song. Blinded by your grace, by your grace, by your grace. Some of you might like Stormzy. Is that his name? Stormzy. Let me just get the backdrop sorted. Blinded by. Let's see if anyone's going to be allowed to come in, hey? Come on in. Come on through, darling. Blinded by your grace, by your grace. Blinded by your grace. Okay, I'm just going to wait till someone joins us. I just heard uno, as in one, but I think that's also a card game. Yeah, it is. I always like the colors on it. Let's see. Are the frequencies aligned? Yeah. Are the frequencies aligned is what I'm hearing. They want me to actually start this very short reading. How long do I have? Yeah, I've probably got about maybe 15 minutes to do this reading before I'm going to see some friends. Oh, hello. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. Thank you for all that you are. Okay, so this reading is interesting because it's attached to a poem. I guess it's also a song as well. Yeah, called The Rime of the Ancient Mariner. Mariner is like, connected to the word marine or marina, or the name marine, I guess. And it's like an old-fashioned word for like sailor, right? Hi, darling, how you going? Freed the creator. Hi, darling, how you going? Okay, so we are working with the rime of the Ancient Mariner. I keep going to say marina. Ooh, itchy nose. Good witches know. Okay, hi darling, how you doing? Thank you for being here. Thank you for being you. So I don't have a lot of time to do this reading, as I just said. I'm going to take some plant medicine to a friend of mine who's a brave warrior of the divine feminine. Ooh, ah, ah. So this reading started with that Stormzy song. Blinded by your grace, by your grace, by your grace. Blinded by your grace. So somebody here is blinded, or they were blind, and now they doth see. Is that the right use of the word? Okay, so this is connected to something about the ocean, something about sailors and pirates. And the title that I channeled was... what was it? Sailors, was it Lost Sailors and Pirates? Or just Sailors and Pirates? Oh no, it was Bitter. which makes me think of bittersweet, which is so funny because I just did a really like lovely reading about love being a shield. And that, of course, makes me think of sweethearts. I just heard Sweetheart's Revenge, which is almost like a, I don't love the word revenge because I know better. And I've had so many opportunities in my life to choose revenge, but I know better, you know. So this is about bitterness. Sorry, so the connection there is bittersweet, something being bittersweet. Blinded by your grace. Some of you may have grown up in a church. Yeah. So how do they want me to start? Sorry, let me just check. Who's in the room today? This message is held for review. Don't know what that was because I'm too busy working. Yeah, so let's start with the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. Oh yeah, and the second half of the title that I channeled is Mummy Loves You. So it's a very unusual thing that Spirit is actually asking me to channel the energy, the frequency, and the words of someone's mother. Okay? Yeah? Bubby needs a hug is what I'm just hearing. So let's start with the rhyme of the Ancient Mariner. This is connected to the saying to have an albatross around your neck, or the saying never kill an albatross. Part 1. It's just joking. Okay, part 1 is an ancient mariner, and he toppeth one of 3 by the long grey beard and glittering eye. Now wherefore stoppest thou me? I haven't read this in so many years. The bridegroom's doors are open wide, and I am next of kin. The guests are met, the feast is set. Mayst hear the merry din. So this was just side note. This is from 1834. So it's a very old, important poem, right? He holds him with his skinny hand. There was a ship, quoth he. Hold off, unhand me, greybeard loon. Epst soons his hand doth he. He holds him with his glittering eye. The wedding guest stood still and listened like a 3 years child. The mariner hath his will. The wedding guest sat on a stone. He cannot choose but hear, and thus spake on that ancient man, the bright-eyed mariner. The ship was cheered, the harbour cleared, merrily did we drop, below the kirk, below the hill, below the lighthouse top. The sun came up upon the left, out of the sea came he, and he shone bright, and on the right went down into the sea. Higher and higher every day, till over the mast at noon, the wedding guest, he beat his breast, for he heard the loud bassoon. Oh, confirmation. Hello, Google. That's my lizard friend. A dragon friend, you might say. Which is actually the totem animal of the tribe around here. The bride hath paced into the hall, red as a rose is she. Nodding their heads before her goes the merry minstrelsy. The wedding guest, he beat his breast, yet he cannot choose but hear, and thus spake on the ancient man, the bright-eyed mariner. I keep trying to say mariner. Oh, that's so funny. And now the storm blast came, and he was tyrannous and strong. He struck with his o'ertaking wings and chased us south along, with sloping mast and dipping prow, as who pursued with yell and blow, still trees the shadows of his foe, and forward bends his head. The ship drove fast, loud roared the blast, and southward we fled. And now there came both mist and snow, and it grew wondrous cold, and ice mast high came floating by, as green as emerald. And though the drifts, the snowy cliffs, did send a dismal sheen, nor shapes of men nor beast we ken, the ice was all between. The ice was here, the ice was there, the ice was all around. It cracked and growled and roared and howled like noises in the swound. At length did cross an albatross. Throughout the fog it came, as if it had been a Christian soul. We held it in God's name. It ate the food it had eat, and round it flew. The ice did split with a thunder fit. The helmsman steered us through. And a good south wind sprung up behind, the albatross did follow, and every day for food or play came the mariner's hollow. The mists or cloud or mast or shroud, it perched for vespers 9, whiles all the night throughout fog smoke white glimmered the white moonshine. God save thee, ancient mariner, from the fiends that plague thee thus. Why lookest thou so? With the crossbow I shot the albatross. The sun now rose upon the right. Out of the sea it came, still hid in mist, and on the left went down into the sea. And the good south wind still blew behind, but no sweet bird did follow, nor any day for food or play came to the mariner's hollow. And I had done a hellish thing, and it would work. This may be your words, yeah, or somebody else's. This might be part of what the channeled message specifically for you, whoever you are, of course. And it would work and woe, for all averred I had killed the bird that made the breeze to blow. Ah, wretched, said they, the bird to slay, that made the breeze to blow. Nor dim, nor red, like God's own head, the glorious sun uprised. Then all averred I had killed the bird that brought the fog and mist. 'Twas right, they said, such birds to slay, that brings the fog and mist. The fair breeze blew. The fair breeze, okay. Clearing that energy, step right off. Alright, mommy loves you. Bubby. Fair breeze blew, the white foam flew, the furrow followed free. We were the first that ever burst into the silent sea. Down dropped the breeze, the sails dropped down. 'Twas sad as sad could be, and we did speak only to break the silence of the sea. All in a hot and copper sky, the bloody sun at noon, right up above the mast did stand, no bigger than the moon. Day after day, day after day, we stuck, nor breath nor motion, as idle as a painted ship, upon a painted ocean. Water, water everywhere, and all the boards did shrink. Water, water everywhere, nor any drop to drink. The very deep did rot, O Christ, that ever this should be. Ye slimy things did crawl with legs upon the slimy sea. About in reel and rout, the death fires danced at night. The water like a witch's oil, burnt green and blue and white. And some in dreams assured were of the spirit that plagued us so. 9 fathom deep he had followed us from the land of mist and snow, and every tongue through utter drought was withered at the root. We could not speak more than if we had been choked with soot. Ah, well a day, what evil looks had I from old and young, instead of the cross, the albatross around my neck was hung. Part 3. There pressed a weary time, each throat was parched and glazed, each eye. A weary time, how glazed each weary eye. When looking westward, I beheld a something in the sky. At first it seemed a little speck, and then it seemed a mist. It moved and took at last a certain shape, a whist. A speck, a mist, a shape, I wist. And still it neared, as if it dogged a water sprite. It plunged and tapped and veered, with throats unslaked, with black lips baked. We could nor laugh nor wail. Through utter drought or dumb we stood. I bit my arm, I sucked the blood, I cried. A sail, with throats unslaked, with black lips baked. Agape they heard me call. Gramercy, they for joy did grin, and all at once their breath drew in, as they were drinking all. See, see, I cried, she tacks no more, hither to work as wheel. Without a breeze, without a tide, she steadies with upright keel. The western wave was all aflame. The day was well nigh done. Almost upon the western wave rested the broad, bright sun. When that strange shape drove suddenly betwixt us and the sun, and straight the sun was flecked with bars, heaven's mother, send us grace. As if though a dungeon great he peered, with broad and burning face. Alas, thought I, and my heart beat loud, how fast she nears and nears. Are those her sails that glance in the sun like restless gossameres? All those her ribs through which the sun did peer, as through a grate, and is that woman all her crew? Is that a death, and are there two? Is death that woman's mate? Her lips were red, her looks were free, her locks were yellow as gold, her skin was as white as leprosy. The nightmare, life in death was she, who thicks man's blood with cold. The naked hulk alongside came, and the twain were casting dice. The game is done. I've won, quoth she, and whistled thrice. The sunbeam dips, the stars rush out. At one stride comes the dark, with far-heard whispers o'er the sea. Off shot the spectre bark, Cry if you need to, babies. We listened and looked sideways up, fear at my heart as at a cup. My lifeblood seemed to sip. The stars were dim and thick the night. The steerman's face by his lamp gleamed white. From the sails he drew dip, till comb above the eastern bar, the horned moon with a bright star within the nether tip. One after one by the star-dogged moon, too quick for groan or sigh, each turned his face with ghastly pang and cursed me with his eyes. 4 times 50 living men, and I heard nor sigh nor groan. With heavy thump, a lifeless thump, they dropped down, one by one. The souls did from their bodies fly. They fled to bliss or woe, and every soul that passed me by like the whiz of a crossbow. Oh, by the way, Mummy loves you. I can't believe Spirit wants me to channel someone's mum. I don't know, maybe your mum's not with us anymore. Or maybe she just didn't tell you that you were loved enough, right? Okay. I fear thee, ancient mariner. I fear thy skinny hand, and thou art long and lank and brown, as is the rib-sea sand. I fear thee and thy glittering eye, and thy skinny hand so brown. Fear not, thou wedding guest. This body dropped not down. Keep in mind that they're white fellas, so it's like brown from being stuck out in the sun, right? Alone, all alone on a wide sea, and never a saint took pity on my soul in agony. The many men so beautiful, and they all dead did lie, and 1,000 slimy things lived on, and so did I. I looked upon the rotting sea and drew my eyes away. I looked upon the rotting deck, and there the dead men lay. I looked to heaven and tried to pray, but or ever a prayer had gushed. A wicked whisper came and made my heart as dry as dust. I closed my lips and kept them closed, and my balls like purses beat. For the sky and the sea and the sea and the sky lay dead like a load of my weary eye, and the dead were at my feet. The cold sweat melted from their limbs, nor rot nor reek did they. The look with which they looked on me had never passed away. An orphan's curse would drag to hell a spirit from on high. But oh, more horrible than that is the curse in a dead man's eye. 7 days, 7 nights I saw that curse, and yet I could not die. The moving moon went up in the sky, and nor where did abide. Softly she was going up, and a star or two beside. Her beams bemocked the sultry main, like April hoar frost spread. But where the ship's huge shadow lay, the charmed water burnt away, and still an awful red beyond the shadow of the ship I watched the water snakes. They moved in tracks of shining white, and when they reared, the elfish light fell off in hoary flakes. Within the shadow of the ship I watched their rich attire, blue, glossy green and velvet black. They coiled and swam, and every track was a flash of golden fire. A spring of love gushed from my heart, and I blessed them unaware. Sure, my kind saint took pity on me, and I blessed them unaware. The self same moment I could pray, and from my neck so free, the albatross fell off and sank like lead into the sea. O sleep, it is a gentle thing, beloved from pole to pole. To Mary Queen the praise be given, she sent the gentle sleep from heaven that slid into my soul. The silly buckets on the deck that had so long remained, I dreamt that they were filled with dew, and when I awoke it rained. My lips were wet, my throat was cold, my garments all were dank. Sure I had drunken in my dreams, and still my body drank. I moved, I could not feel my limbs. I was so light almost, I thought that I had died in sleep and was a blessed ghost. And soon I heard a roaring wind. It did not come anear, but with its sound it shook the sails that were so thin and sere. The upper air burst into life, and 100 fire flags sheen. To and fro they were hurried about, and to and fro and in and out, the one stars danced between. And the coming wind did roar more loud, and the sails did sigh like sedge, and the rain poured down from one black cloud. The moon was at its edge. The thick black cloud was cleft and still, the moon was at its side, like waters shot from some high crag. The lightning fell with never a jag, river steep and wide. The loud winds never reached the ship, yet nor the ship moved on. Beneath the lightning and the moon, the dead men gave a groan. They groaned, they stirred, they all uprose, nor spake nor moved their eyes. It had been strange, even in a dream, to have seen those dead men rise. The helmsman steered, the ship moved on, yet never a breeze up blew. The mariners all again worked the ropes where they were wont to do. They raised their limbs like lifeless tools. We were a ghastly crew. The bodies of my brother's sons stood by me, knee to knee. The body and I pulled at one rope, but he said, "Naught to me. I fear thee, ancient mariner. Be calm, thou wedding guest. 'Twas not those souls that fled in pain, which to their corpses came again, but a troop of spirits blessed. For when it dawned, they dropped their arms and clustered round the mast. Sweet sounds rose slowly through their mouths, and from their bodies passed. Around and around flew each sweet soul, then darted to the sun. Slowly the sound came back again, now mixed, now one by one. Sometimes the dropping from the sky, I heard the skylark sing. Sometimes all little birds that are, how they seem to fill the sea and air with their sweet jargoning. And now 'twas like all instruments, now like a lonely flute. And now it is an angel's song that makes the heavens be mute. It ceased, yet still the sails made on, a pleasant noise at noon, a noise like a hidden brook in the leafy month of June, that to the sleeping woods all night singeth a quiet tune. Till noon we quietly sailed on, yet never a breeze did breathe. Slowly and smoothly went the ship, moved onward from beneath, under the keel 9 fathom deep, From the land of mist and snow the spirit slid, and it was he that made the ship go. The sails at noon left of their tune, and the ship stood still or so. The sun right up above the mast had fixed her in the ocean, but in a minute she'd gained stir with a short uneasy motion. Backwards and forwards half her length with a short uneasy motion. Then like a pawing horse let go, she made a sudden bound. It flung the blood into my head, and I fell down in a swound. How long in that same fit I lay, I have not to declare, but ere my living life return, I heard and in my soul discerned two voices in the air. It is he, quoth one. It is this man, by him who died on the cross. With his cruel bow he laid full low the harmless Albatross. The spirit who biddeth by himself in the land of mist and snow, he loved the bird that loved the man who shot him with his bow. The other was a softer voice, as soft as honeydew. Quoth he, the man hath penance done, and penance more will do. First voice, but tell me, speak again. Thy soft response renewing, what makes the ship drive on so fast? What is the ocean doing? The second voice said, still as a slave for his lord, the ocean hath no blast. His great bright eyes most silently up to the moon is cast, if he may know which way to go, for she guides him smooth or grim. See, brother, see how graciously she looketh down on him. But why drives on that ship so fast without a wave or wind? The air is cut away before and closes from behind. Fly, brother, fly, more high, or we shall be belated. For slow and slow that ship will go when the mariner's trance is abated. I woke, and we were sailing on, as in a gentle whither. 'Twas night, calm night, the moon was high, the dead men stood together, all stood together on the deck for a charnel dungeon fitter. All fixed on me their stony eyes, that in the moon did glitter. The pang, the curse with which he died had never passed away. I could not withdraw my eyes from theirs, nor turn them up to pray. And now this spell was snapped once more. I viewed the ocean green, and looked far forth, yet little saw, or what else had been. Like one that on a lonesome road doth walk in fear and dread, and having once turned round walks on and turns no more his head, because he knows a frightful fiend doth close behind him tread. But soon there breathed a wind on me, nor sound nor motion made. Its path was not upon the sea, in ripple or in shade. It raised my hair, it fanned my cheek like a meadow gale of spring. It mingled strangely with my fears, yet it felt like welcoming. Swiftly, swiftly flew the ship, yet she sailed softly too. Sweetly, sweetly blew the breeze, on me alone it blew. O dream of joy, is this indeed the lighthouse top I see? Is this the hill? Is this the kirk? Is this mine own country? We drifted o'er the harbour bar, and with sobs did pray, "Oh, let me be awake, my God, oh, let me sleep alway." The harbour bay was clear as glass, so smoothly it was strewn, and on the bay the moonlight lay, and the shadow of the moon. The rock shone bright, the kirk no less, that stands above the rock, the moonlight steeped in silentness, the steady weathercock. And the bay was white with silent light, till rising from the same, full many shapes that shadows were, in crimson colours came. A little distance from the prow those crimson shadows were. I turned my eyes upon the deck. O Christ, what was I there? Each course lay flat, lifeless and flat, and by the holy rood, all man or light, a seraph man on every course there stood, their seraph band, each waved his hand. It was a heavenly sight. They stood as signals into the land, each one a lovely light. This seraph band, each waved his hand, no voice did they impart, no voice, but oh, the silence sank like music on my heart. But soon I heard the dash of oars. I heard the pilot's cheer. My head was turned perforce away, and I saw a boat appear. The pilot and the pilot's boy, I heard them coming fast. Dear Lord in heaven, it was a joy, dear dead, the dead man could not blast. I saw a third, I heard his voice. It is the hermit good. He singeth loud his godly hymns that he makes in the wood. He'll shrieve my soul. He'll wash away the albatross blood. This hermit good lives in the wood which slopes down to the sea. How loudly his sweet voice rears. He loves to talk with mariners that come from a far country. He kneels at morn and noon and eve. He hath the cushion plump. It is the moss that wholly hides the rotting old oak stump. The skiff boat neared. I heard them talk. Why, this is strange, I trow. Where are those lights so many and fair that signal made but now? Strange, by my faith, the hermit said, and they answered not our cheer. The planks looked warped, and see those sails, how thin they are and sere. I never saw aught like to them, unless perchance it was brown skeletons of leaves that lag my forest brook along. When the ivy trod is heavy with snow, and the owlet whoops to the wolf below that eats the she-wolf's young. Dear Lord, it hath fiendish look. The pilot made reply, I am afeard. Push on, said the hermit cheerily. The boat came closer to the ship, but I nor spake nor stirred. The boat came close beneath the ship, and straight a sound we heard. Under the water it rumbled on, still louder and more dread. It reached the ship, it split the bay. The ship went down like lead. Stunned by that loud and dreadful sound, which sky and ocean smote, Like one that hath been 7 days drowned, my body lay afloat. But swift as dreams myself I found within the pilot's boat. Upon the well where sank the ship, the boat spun round and round, and all was still save the hill was telling of the sound. I moved my lips. The pilot shrieked and fell down in a fit. The holy hermit raised his eyes and prayed where he did sit. I took the oars, the pilot's boy, who now doth crazy go, laughed loud and long, and all the while his eyes went to and fro. Ha ha, quoth he, full plain I see, the devil knows how to row. And now, all in my own country, I stood on the firm land. The hermit stepped forth from the boat, and scarcely he could stand. Oh, shrieve me, holy man. The hermit crossed his bow. Say quick, quoth he, I bid thee say, what manner of man art thou? Forthwith this frame of mine was wretched with a woeful agony, which forced me to begin my tale, and then it left me free. Since then, at an uncertain hour, the agony returns, until my ghastly tale is told, this heart within me burns. I pass like night from land to land. I have strange power of speech. That moment that his face I see, I know the man that must hear me. To him my tale I teach. What loud uproar burst from that door? The wedding guests are there, but in the garden bower the bride and bridesmaids singing are, and hark, oh, wow, oh, I don't have much time left. Almost finished. Thank you for your patience. O wedding guest, this soul, hold on, the singing, and hark the little vesper bell which biddeth me to pray. O wedding guest, this soul hath been alone on a wide sea, so lonely 'twas the God himself scarce seemed there to be. O sweeter than the marriage feast, 'tis sweeter confirmation. Someone might be getting married. Oh, sweeter than the marriage feast, 'tis sweeter far for me to walk together to the kirk with a godly company, to walk together to the kirk and all together pray, while each of his great father bends, old men and babes and loving friends, and youths and maidens gay. Farewell, farewell, but this I tell to thee, thou wedding guests, he prayeth well, he loveth well, both man and bird and beast. He prayeth best, who loveth best, all things both great and small. For the dear God who loveth us, he made and loveth all. The mariner whose eye is bright, whose beard is age, with age and whore, is gone, and now the wedding guest turned from the bridegroom's door. He went like one that hath been stunned, and is of sense forlorn, a sadder and wiser man. He rose the marrow morn. Well, 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 well. Well, well, well. So, What does this teach us? The albatross is hope, and the albatross can guide you home. Just like a shepherd leading his flock. Just like the story of Jesus leading his people. Moses leading his people. Mary Magdalene. Bob Marley. These beacons of hope, these beacons of light. Like the albatross would never harm a soul, but can guide you to land. So you must never, ever, ever kill the albatross. Because when this mariner, this lost sailor, and his sad pirates killed the albatross, it was not just that one bird, but it was hope itself that they were taking from the ship. And because of that, they could not find their way to land. They could not find their way home. And he had to watch all those other sailors die, all those other pirates die, all of his crewmen, his family, his countrymen, his brothers in arms, he watched perish. And to shame him and remind him, they tied an albatross around his neck and tied him to the mask. I almost said mask. And the ultimate punishment for him was to survive that and watch everybody die because of his actions. Maybe the mariner maybe even abusive. And some of you watching this, your mother is no longer playing. And she's sending a message from heaven saying, remember to never shoot an albatross. Because that man thought he was going to eat upon that albatross. Instead, he killed all of his crewmen. And he was lost. It's interesting that spirit, higher powers, the ocean itself allowed him to live. Maybe so that he could tell that tale and make sure that everyone who heard that tale would never do something so stupid. I encourage you to read this in your own time. I just have to go because I'm actually about to go see a friend. Like I said, I'm just going to pull one oracle card for you, which is actually like a meditational practice that you need to hear right now. And I just keep wanting to say your mommy loves you. Mommy loves you, darling. So stop feeling all of that. Stop chasing for a love which you already have. And stop disrespecting Mother Gaia, women, divine feminines, your sisters, other mothers, other daughters, so you can be the big man who killed the fucking albatross, please. Okay. Don't know where that came from. Loving eyes. That's funny because I felt drawn to wear my glasses for this reading. This is your homework, okay, sweetheart? This is your homework. Loving eyes. This week, endeavor, that's funny, to look at things and people with loving eyes. Notice any changes that occur in your eyes, face, body, heart, mind, visual field, and focus when you remember to look with loving eyes. When people try to look at the world with loving eyes, they report a shift in how they see objects and other people. Their focus often becomes clearer and they notice small details as if they are looking through a magnifying lens. This is interesting because I've heard a lot of targeted individuals talking about and I've picked up on this energy. I've even resonated with it myself. Is that being being spiritually, psychologically, emotionally attacked, abused, harassed, whatever, you can see it as it making you more of a fighter, more of a warrior, more of a weapon, and it does. But what's more important is the way that it changes how you see the world, how you see those around you, and the empathy, kindness, compassion, humility that you can hold. And you got to choose that, Bobby, darling, little Bobby boy. Oh, maybe you're a boy, but this is getting messages for everyone, right? Maybe you're not a boy. Maybe you have some gender stuff you need to work out that's coming through. Okay, I better go because, oh yeah, no way. Okay, just one from the Mushroom Tarot deck. Yeah. Did I mention I'm a Scorpio moon, by the way? I just felt drawn to remind you of that. Don't judge a book by its cover, honey. Ooh! Eek! And that, dear lost sailor, ancient mariner, dirty pirate, that is the card of the devil. So, yeah. It looks like you've got some heart chakra clearing to do. You may have been very confused about what side you were fighting for. That's funny. It's called a lobster mushroom. Lobster. That's very expensive to eat, Oh yeah, and it's from the water. That's interesting. Crustaceans. Crustaceans have such a hard armored shell because they got no spine. Whew. Alright, I better leave that as it is. Yeah. Your mother also wants you to know that you can always change the course of the ship, right? And that might come with acknowledging that it is not you at the helm. It might even be the devil himself. Okay, love to the goddess. Mwah! So much love from Codes of Harmony. By the way, my email is codesofharmony@gmail.com if anyone wants to get in touch. Oh, you can't see my eyes. I was giving you butterfly kisses. Mommy loves you.